Protein digestion. क्या सारा काम एब्जॉर्प्शन का है, सिक्रीशन का है, क्या करते हैं बेसिकली? It means that we just know that the carbs, the proteins and the fat we are supposed to eat in our food. That is the initial place where they are supposed to be acted upon is the oral cavity through saliva, right? Okay, then we have to digest it, and finally when the food is going to pass from the esophagus and then into that bag-like structure that occupies your epigastric region, left hypochondrium and a little bit of the right. And J-shaped structure, bag-like, definitely should be filled up with all these food materials. They should be broken into smaller pieces, right? कि आप इसको कहते हो कि ये simpler sugar में और protein amino acid में उसका फैट के भी smaller particles हो चुके हैं, and a little absorption in a sense will occur because that is the main function of the small intestine, right? Now this stomach, if we see that how it appears histologically, so first we have to move towards some other good view to observe the features. You can see that again bag-like structure. So we have to learn about the areas. You can see that the lower end of the esophagus is addressing a part of stomach that is called as cardia, right? Then you observe there is a bulge area called as fundus at rest of that stomach's body. And then you observe the pylorus having the antrum and the pyloric canal. And then you observe that C-shaped curvy structure. That is the initial segment of your small intestine. Is it clear? That is the location. And definitely, as the name shows, these areas are holding the respective glands. Here we expect the cardiac glands, right? And here we expect the fundic glands, right? Including the fundic area. Then after that, this antrum and canal of the pylorus will be addressing the pyloric glands. Look at it inside. So let's see inside structure. So we learned, and you told me that when we cut the section of this stomach, we observe various transversely running temporary folds called as rugae, right? Why they are temporary? Because when this bag is filled, तो क्या होना चाहिए? जो आपके crumpled area था, वो stretch up हो गया. ये ऐसे ही है जैसे कि आप you take a towel और वो folded appearance में पड़ा है, and you are putting something and it's being now opened and flattened. So that's why they are called as temporary folds, right? And you can very well see here that there lies the esophageal sphincter, and at the end of this you expect the pyloric sphincter. These sphincter are definitely there, and to some extent they are holding the food. So let's see some other good picture to explain rest of the features. Okay, let's start with the description of the glands. This is the section of the mucosa of the stomach. You tell me there are 4 layers. The innermost lining is the mucosa, right? Around it is the submucosa. Definitely there is sub located just below. Then there is a third, that is muscularis but externa. Why we call it as externa? There is some interna or internal this muscular layer in the muscularis mucosa, right? After the third layer, the muscularis externa, we expect the last either serosa or adventitia. So we expect the serosa in the stomach, right? And how would you differentiate among the serosa and adventitia? Yeah, not with the epithelium. Okay, this is again a simpler example. If you've got some piece of cloth and if you hem it,
एक तरफ से हेमिंग टाइप हो गई है और वो सिंपल स्क्वेमस एपिथेलियम से हो गई है. That is called as serosa, right? If it is not being hemmed, there is no this simple squamous epithelium called mesothelium. If it is not there, that is adventitia. मतलब कोई फर्क नहीं है उसके और उसके कनेक्टिव टिश्यू या कंटेंट में. जहाँ पे आपको mesothelium लगी मिल जाएगी, you call it as serosa, right? And what is mesothelium? Nothing but simple squamous epithelium. Is it clear? Okay. So mucosa को अगर हम expect करें कि ये किस तरह से है, from here up to here, kindly help me out. कि what are the portion or component of the mucosa? It's epithelium first, then lamina propria, a proper layer, muscularis mucosa, may or may not. So let's see. This is the epithelium, and we know the epithelium dips downwards to form a gland. Is it clear? First year का previous knowledge है कि how gland is formed. Surface epithelial cells invaginate होंगे और they are gonna form. So simple tubular or acinar, you told me, could be branched, but the lower end could be a little bit coiled. And you see the base, if this is being cut, and you see so many portions of these are the glands as well. This is the LS, you can observe, and that is the basal region of the gland being cut and shown in this mucosa, right? Okay, the portion in between these glands, this is lamina propria, right? So being schematic, so you cannot see the content of the connective tissue right here, and it's been ending up with the muscularis mucosae. The important thing here that when you observe, that was the elevated areas we will discuss later on, which were the mammillated areas being separated by the grooves of the gastric area, right? And we see so many, you told me there are pits. The opening of the glands, simple thing that if you have seen wet floor, right? And muddy area in the rainy season, after that rain stops, you see so many small holes over it. And if you observe them, we feel like some earth forms are supposed to come in and out. Those small dotted pitted areas of foveolae are just like that of these gastric pits. And deep seated, if we cut and we see the glands inside. Is it clear? Muscularis mucosae is there, consisting of inner circular and outer longitudinal but interwoven thin layer, right? And what we have to discuss that the pits, the upper portion is deeper, upper 2/3 is occupied by the pit, and low 1/3 is being occupied that secretory or basal parts of the gland. ठीक है, आप इस तरह कह लें कि ये म्यूकोसा था, इसको अपर 2/3 में हमने डिवाइड किया और लोअर 1/3 में. यहाँ पर इसका secretory और basal part रह गया, pit इसकी deeper थी in the cardiac glands. If you have to discuss these cardiac glands, so let's see what happens in the fundic and pyloric gland. So let's see pylorus. Again, you see the tall, deeper pyloric glands, again dividing into branch tubular. And again, the lower end could be coiled. You see so many cut sections, right? These are the glands, right? One branching, the other branching, and another simple, right? And again, see that the upper pit is quite deeper. Upper 2/3 is being occupied. And low 1/3 is having the secretory portions. In cardiac gland, extremes, two extremes, the cardiac gland and the pylorus, they have got deeper pits, right? Upper 2/3. And lower 1/3 is being occupied the secretory portions. And what do you expect here? These purple rounded appearances showing the lymphatic nodule over there. That could be a well-formed structure we observe here, or diffusely, right? Spread all around. And then we expect the muscularis mucosae, of course. Now see this is the, again, fundic gland, the middle portion one. In a sense, what you observe, you see the pits are now smaller, so just occupying the upper 1/3, but the secretory part occupies the lower 2/3. So this is the main difference. Somebody asks you, so you have to tell कि mucosa में तो ये सारे buried है. It's again just like you have seen so many test tubes. FSC में देखी होंगी while practical, and you put all those test tubes buried in a wet, muddy फ्लोर, ठीक है? तो वो आपको उसका जो ऊपर ओपनिंग दिखेगी, दैट वुड बी द पेट्स, राइट? अगर आप उसको एलएस में काट लें तो वो जो डीप सीटेड आपके पास टेस्ट ट्यूब्स थी, वो आपके पास ये ग्लैंड्स हैं। वो अब सिंपल ट्यूबलर नहीं रहे, कहीं ऐसे नए बने हुए, कहीं वो ब्रांच्ड हो गए, फॉर इजी अंडरस्टैंडिंग, राइट? सो नाउ वी हैव टू सी सम अदर पिक्चर टू discuss the other features. It takes a little more time for uploading. Meanwhile, we can see histologically how it appears. Let me see the picture looks a little bit different from that of the schematic we have seen. Okay, histological section है, क्या हुआ? ये इनका pit है, right? And this pit is showing the deep-seated, located these branched glands. और ये दरमियान में जो darker area है, that is addressing the lamina propria. Lamina propria, loose connective tissue. अगर हम इसको कनेक्टिव टिश्यू बोल के छोड़ दें, यू मस्ट बी नोइंग कि इट इज हैविंग द कनेक्टिव टिश्यू सेल्स इन इट. फाइब्रोब्लास्ट कह दें, स्मूथ मसल्स भी डाल दें, लिम्फोसाइट, प्लाज्मा सेल, मे बी मैक्रोफेजेस, राइट, मास सेल्स. देन यू कैन ऐड द ग्राउंड सब्सटेंस, देन यू कैन ऐड द कनेक्टिव टिश्यू फाइबर्स. यही तीन चीज़ें मिलकर आपका कनेक्टिव टिश्यू बनाती थी ना, ठीक है? तो जब आपसे सिर्फ कनेक्टिव टिश्यू बोला जाए तो बैकग्राउंड में फर्स्ट ईयर का नॉलेज देयर शुड बी देयर. ठीक हो गया? ओके. और दैट इज द एरिया द मस्कुलरिस म्यूकोसी. एंड ये जो आपको लाइटर स्टेन एरिया दिखा है, दैट इज द एपिथेलियम. सो लेट्स सी इफ वी मार्क इट, सो हाउ द ग्लैंड्स अपीयर इन एक्चुअल. देयर इज अनदर पिक्चर आई हैव मेड. दिस इज द लाइन demarcation showing the simple branch tubular. एक ये branching और एक ये. Can you get it now? ठीक है? अदरवाइज ये हिस्टोलॉजिकल पूरा सेक्शन था, ठीक है? अब आप अगर इसको इसी तरह पेन से मार्क कर लें तो जो स्टूडेंट्स अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पा रहे कि ये पूरा पोर्शन क्या है, नाउ यू कैन सी दैट देयर इज अ पिट और ओपनिंग एंड दिस इज द एक्सक्रीटरी एरिया. इफ यू ऑब्जर्व द ग्लैंड, लेट मी draw it for you because this is very important concept. That was the pit, this portion, and then we are entering into the isthmus and neck region of the gland. Collectively you can outside, because it has to put its secretion outside, so excretory duct you would say. Now it's coming downwards and is bifurcating to form the simple but branch tubular. This is the secretory part, if you know the portions of the gland. Is it clear now? Yes. Okay. Now let's move towards some other to explain rest of the layers. Okay, now we can see this also. This is a surface view, and you can see the pits, right? एक आपको surface दिखाई दे रही थी, not very much uniform. You can observe so many these mammillated areas, and these are being separated with the gastric grooves, right? And in between that top surface is addressing these holes, right? These are the pits of the glands. It means कि अगर आप ये ऊपर से देख रहे हैं, ये जैसे आप इसको सुपीरियर एस्पेक्ट समझ लें, इसको हम इस तरह से ऑब्जर्व करें, और जो ये राउंडेड होल्स बन रहे हैं, ये पिट्स हैं, और इसके नीचे इस तरह ग्लैंड्स लगे हुए. यू गेट इट? Okay, it's simpler. So yeah, I'm interested कि आपको सेक्शन या माइक्रोस्कोपिक स्ट्रक्चर्स पे ग्रिप आ जाए कि आपने कैसे देखना है माइक्रोस्कोप, बिकॉज इट सीम्स टू बी अ बोरिंग थिंग ना, तो आपको पता चले कि जब आप अपनी ही बॉडी को उसका एक स्लाइस लेकर माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे रखते हैं तो हाउ इट लुक्स, हाउ अल मुसव्विरो हैज मेड योर बॉडी. So let's see individually a simple tubular branch tubular gland. Again a schematic to show the cell series, right? So you can observe these are the surface epithelial cells. What epithelium you expect in GIT or stomach? Yeah, very good. The simple columnar. It's just like a class of MBBS. Now we have to name the different students sitting over there, right? So let's see. The surface mucous cells are lying there and they are taller columnar with the basal located nucleus. And what they carry? They have got inside the mucus or mucin, which is what? Alkaline in nature. So must be insoluble, right? And when we move towards the isthmus and neck region, we expect there is another population of cells called as mucous neck cell, a little bit pyramidal in shape, smaller than that, and carries the soluble mucus content, right? More acidic now it could be, okay? And after that, we observe another cell there,
which could be the stem cell, right? Being written with this purple word, the stem cell. What could be the function of stem cell? Can anyone tell? Proliferation, regeneration. So they must be undifferentiated stem cell. What is going to happen? This factory of cells, they will produce or replicate to form more cells, and they will move upwards to replace this series. And definitely, they will be moving downwards to replace this series. इस फैक्ट्री का काम है, इसलिए ऊपर भी सप्लाई पहुंचानी है, नीचे भी. Is it clear? Okay. After that, we have got the most important cell of that stomach, that is the parietal cell. That could be rounded, triangular, pyramidal, but it seems bulging in the lumen, right? And what important function it has to do? As you tell me that it has to produce the acid HCl, and it has to produce the intrinsic factor, so that it should be having a binding with the carrying the your vitamin B12, and it has to be taken in for the further action of function, right? And after that, this purple cell is the chief cell that occupies the basal region. अब ये लोकेशन आपको ऑलरेडी पिक्चर से पता चल रही है कि कौन सा सेल कहाँ पे सीट कर रहा है, कहाँ पे बैठा हुआ है. अब अगर आपको ये एरिया पेराइटल से ऑक्यूपाई दिख रहा है तो मे बी देयर आर फ्यू पेराइटल सेल्स इन द बेसल रीजन टू, लेकिन एक चीज की अक्सरियत कहाँ पे है वो हमें याद रखना है, ठीक है? और ये आपको बता ही रहा है, ऊपर वाला सेल के सरफेस म्यूकस सेल है, सिर्फ सरफेस पे खत्म हो जाएंगे. जो ग्लैंड में आएंगे तो म्यूकस नेक सेल आ जाएंगे, ठीक है? साथ ही स्टेम सेल हमने इंटरवीनिंग एरिया में देख लिए. देन पेराइटल चीफ पे आ जाइए, इंटेंसली बेसोफिलिक सेल आपको दिख रहा है, एंड बेसली लोकेटेड न्यूक्लियस. न्यूक्लियस की अलाइनमेंट देख लीजिए. दिस न्यूक्लियस इज if this is the basal region, it is lying perpendicular, and its nucleus is along with the surface of the basal region. What it has to produce? It has to produce pepsinogen. Its basal region is filled up with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Ribosomes could be there, giving it intensely basophilic stain. And its apical region should be addressing the acidophilic stain due to the secretory granules. और वो कौन से थे? इसको आप कहते हैं पेप्सिनोजन सिक्रेटिंग और गैस्ट्रिक लाइपेज प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है. ठीक हो गया? ये इंटेंसली एसिडोफिलिक है. कैन यू टेल मी द रीजन? The which organelle inside is taking the deep eosinophilic stain? Parietal cell. The mitochondria. The well-marked and abundant mitochondria inside the parietal cell is going to give it the eosinophilic stain. Okay, now we are coming towards the last cell, that is a smaller one, located in this basal region. You can see nucleus is apical, and what its name is the enteroendocrine. Okay, can you name few endocrine organs in the body? Pancreas, yes, very good. ठीक है, ये वो ऑर्गन्स हो गए जिनके अंदर आप एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं अदर सेल्स. मेन तो आप बताएंगे ना, पिट्यूटरी है, थायराइड है, पैराथायराइड, ठीक है, ये तो आपको एक मेजर दिखते हैं ग्लैंड्स. लेकिन अगर आपसे ये पूछा जाए कि जीआईटी में भी कुछ ऐसा है जो एंडोक्राइन के तौर पे काम करता है, तो यू शुड कोट या देयर आर द enteroendocrine cells, a part of diffuse neuroendocrine system, DNES abbreviate किया जाता है, उसको आपको बुक्स में मिल जाएगा. It's a part of it. What it does, एंडोक्राइन है तो इसमें हार्मोनल स्ट्रक्चर प्रोड्यूस करने हैं, एंड इसके एरिया में, विसिनिटी में वेल वेस्कुलरिटी या कैपिलरीज होनी चाहिए. बिकॉज आपको पता है एंडोक्राइन की एक खसूसियत है कि इट टेक्स या इट पुट्स इन सिक्रेशन इनटू द ब्लड वेसल्स टू बी एक्टेड अपॉन. अच्छा, अब हम ब्लैक बोर्ड की तरफ आ जाए, व्हाइट बोर्ड रादर. You can see the enteroendocrine is supposed to produce a variety of cells. It's being said 17 varieties are there, but the main one, the EC cell, which is supposed to secrete the serotonin, right? Another variety is the G cell to produce gastrates. Then comes the D cell to produce the somatostatin. And if there is A cell, they are supposed to produce enteroglucagon. Then motilin, of course, so you can add some secretin, some other hormonal structures, chemicals are there. So it means this cell factory is supposed to secrete these endocrinal hormones in the body, right? Okay, now let's talk about their lifespan. The surface mucous cell, they take almost 6 days turnover rate, right? Mucous neck cell again 6 days, stem cells again 5 to 6 days. It means overall, if we see, these 3 cells are almost taking a week to be replaced, or they are gonna be doing their lifespan. So, okay, among these 3, the parietal cell, they live for 150 to 200 days. Then they are being replaced, right? Okay. Now we are left with these 2, the chief and enteroendocrine. They take 30 to 60 days lifespan. So आसान आपको याद रखना हो जाएगा कि ऊपर वाले 3 सेल तकरीबन 1 हफ्ता ले रहे थे. अब इसको लिख सकते हैं 3 to 5 days, 6 days अकॉर्डिंगली. और जो पैराइटल थे मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थे, और एक आपको गैस्ट्रिक म्यूकोजा या स्टमक का जहन में आते ही एसिडिटी, एसिड वर्ड आ जाता है, HCl मेन चीज. सो इसकी लाइफ स्पेन सबसे ज्यादा है, ठीक. और बाकी 2 सेल का एक जितना, 30 to 60 days, just to remember, because that question can come through whole this histology that discuss the cellular detail of the epithelial lining of the stomach, right? So आपको बाकी फीचर्स से सिर्फ सेल्स के नाम, उनकी डिटेल पे you have to attempt. Okay, now we see some other thing related. Okay, if you see the surface view, you can observe these elevated mammillated areas, and this is the gastric groove, and you can observe the pits, and deep seated you observe the glands. So the longitudinal section you can see again the mucosa, these are the mammillated areas, and these are the pits, right, getting into the glandular tissue, right? This is the gland, and now we are supposed to see the all layers in combination. That was the just application we'll discuss later on. तो फिर ये फुल थिकनेस सेक्शनल व्यू आ गया, दो स्कीमेटिक बट आपको याद रहेगा. This area is the mucosa, right? And this is the submucosa, and this is the muscularis externa, and the ending up layer is serosa or adventitia, depends upon the organ. So this is stomach, we expect the serosa. So we are looking into the mammillated area, the pit having the glands, and this area is the lamina propria addressing blood vessels, nerve, all the connective tissue features. This is the muscularis mucosae we already discussed, and this layer is showing the well vascularity. And a thing you added, these yellow dot, they are showing the submucosal nerve plexus, right? They are named as masseter nerve plexus, a part of the enteric nervous system, right? So why they are present here? They are supposed to innervate this muscularis mucosae and the gland. अगर आपको याद हो कि अगर पूछा जाए कि नर्व सप्लाई इधर चले मोटर है या ऑटोनॉमिक है, मोटर सप्लाई किस किस ऑर्गन को करेगी? व्हाट डू यू एक्सपेक्ट? अगर मोटर नर्व है से मसल को करेगी और ग्लैंड्स को. वेरी गुड. सो इसी तरह आपकी ये जो एंटेरिक nervous system है, it is going to supply the muscularis mucosae and the glands, right? So mesener nerve plexus याद रखिएगा, always present in the submucosal layer, right? Then you see the three coating of this gastric layer. The inner layer is obliquely set, right? The middle is circularly arranged, and outer one is the longitudinally arranged. In between the circular and longitudinal, again you see these yellow marked dots called as myenteric nerve plexus or Auerbach nerve plexus, right? So these two plexus, so always remember, one is in the submucosa and other is the which is present in between the two layers of the muscularis externa. This is the rule. जब भी आप कोई भी GIT कोई भी आप सेक्शन देखेंगे तो ये दो आपको enteric nervous system at its own काम करता है, और it is being present or divided to do the mesener and the myenteric, and present ये आपको पता होना चाहिए submucosa में और दूसरा muscularis externa में, right? And the serosa of course is a simpler self-explanatory layer. Okay, let's see. These muscular layer I am looking for another good section to make it more clear how they are in your stomach. Yeah, this is the concern diagram. So kindly concentrate. That was definitely the cardia, the fundus, and the pylorus. So see, the innermost muscularis externa having the obliquely set fibers, right? Can you see that? Then the middle layer is circularly arranged all around. It's being much prominent at the pyloric sphincter to form it. Pylorus में ज़्यादा वाज़े और prominent है और well developed है to form the sphincter, right? And then the outer, the longitudinal layer. The outermost fibers are longitudinal. So the most random arrangement of muscularis externa is in the stomach. अच्छा, और कौन से hollow organ है आपकी body में? जैसा कि ये stomach है, one is this. Esophagus is a tubular, okay? But if we talk about a dilated hollow organ, heart, और GIT में आप bladder, very good. दोनों bladder, urinary bladder, gall bladder, and uterus. So these all hollow organ will be addressing the random arrangement of the muscles. But among these all, the stomach is one which is showing the maximum randomly arranged muscles. ठीक है, याद रहेगा कैसे कैसे हैं. अच्छा, this longitudinal layer is well marked along the lesser curvature and greater curvature. but this is absent or less well developed anteriorly and posteriorly. तो सुन्नत है एक कि आप बैठ कर खाएं पिए कोई भी चीज़, टेक लगा के ना खाएं. अगर आप टेक लगा रहे हैं इन अ सेंस टू विच आई अंडरस्टैंड, तो द फूड यू आर टेकिंग इन हमारे पीछे ये लॉन्गिट्यूडनल लेयर एंटीरियर पोस्टीरियर वेल डेवलप्ड नहीं है. इफ वी सिट इरेक्ट, बैठ के खा रहे हैं, all the food is coming and present along this greater curvature. So the things that these muscular layer are also supporting our tissue inside. तो इसके अंदर अल्सर प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है. मोस्ट ऑफ द पैथोलॉजिकल कंडीशन आती है, कंप्लेन आती है गैस्ट्राइटिस की, इजंट इट? और एक टर्म यूज होती है गर्ड, गैस्ट्रो ईसोफेजियल रिफ्लक्स डिजीज. ठीक है, उसमें ये क्या होता है, एसिड बहुत ज़्यादा बन गया और आपका ऊपर वाला जो इसोफेजियल स्फिंक्टर था वो इतना पेटेड नहीं है. रिफ्लेक्सली यू गेट द बर्निंग रिट्रोस्टर्नल. आपका फूड आपको लगेगा बाहर की तरफ आ रहा है, रिगर्ज हो रहा है. ठीक है, सो दैट कुड बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट गर्ड, राइट? ओके, नाउ वी विल डिस्कस फ्यू cellular feature and we will finish with this stomach. Okay, if you want to see the rugi, we initially talk about the rugi. The histological feature, these bulge, that whole bulge is called rugi. What it carries? The mucosa and the submucosa. So the viva question can be that the rugi contains what? You should add the mucosa and the submucosa. And these rugi are temporary. जैसे आपने food से इसको भर लिया, ये जो fold थे ये सारे खुल गए, right? So that should be kept in mind. Later on we will see some other folds which could be permanent. So this is temporary one in the stomach. And let's see some other important cell we have to talk about. Yeah, this is the parietal cell, the most important. You know कि सिर्फ parietal पे note आ जाए तो what you have to discuss. The parietal cell, as you can see, you are looking into a very important feature of it. There are intracellular canaliculi. From where they are forming? The plasma lemma is going to invaginate and form these small canals. छोटे-छोटे canal, canaliculi कहते हैं हमने. Intracellular canaliculi. Before that, you can see so many membrane-bound tubulo-vesicular system or structure. All this. के दायरे या लंबाई के रुख membrane-bound आपको structures दिख रहे हैं. When cell is in inactive form, कोई काम नहीं कर रहा, तो ये tubulo-vesicular system बहुत well developed होगा. But the time when this parietal cell gets more active, so what is going to happen? They will coalesce and they will form much more intracellular canaliculi to increase the surface area. क्योंकि इधर अंदर HCl बन रहा है, उसको help out करने के लिए माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया की फैक्ट्री भरी हुई है, and these intracellular canaliculi are lined with the microvilli as well, right? So these things should be in mind. कि आपको parietal cell जहन में आते ही पता होना चाहिए कि it is having the intracellular canaliculi system. ठीक है, क्योंकि HCl बन रहा है और उसने pour out होना है accordingly. And other things, the Golgi apparatus, the lysosome, other cell organelles are also a part of it. So let's see now the slides of the stomach to make it a little bit more clear. Okay, these folds, On 4x, these are the rugi. You get it? Another rugi. Why? Carrying the mucosa and submucosa in it, right? This is on the 4x. Okay, now we have to move it towards the 10x. Like this. You can see these are the pits. Now it is going downwards to form the gland. These are the glandular tissue. Simple columnar epithelium ऊपर लगी हुई है और ये जो बीच में आपको dotted area दिख रहे हैं, these are the lamina propria intervening, right? And this is the muscularis mucosae. So this is the region, cardiac region of the stomach, right? अब हम तीनों regions देखेंगे, then you can compare and contrast. This is the submucosal region addressing various cut section of the blood vessel, right? And finally we are entering into that muscular layer and ending up with the serosa. You can see these dotted mesothelium, right? This is okay. Again, have a look on this. Cardiac glands may be lined with the enteroendocrine cells. Parietal cells could be there, and stem cell, of course, are, and these mucus secreting cells. So let's see the another. Okay, this is a region. We expect the pyloric glands. Again, this is the whole curvy is the rugi, and these are the individual glands. So let's see it in a. This is the 4x view, right? So if I move it towards the 10x, how they appear. ये जो डीप सीटेड इनसाइड टिश्यू ला रहा है, ये ग्लैंड बना रहा है, और ये जो आपको एम्प्टी लाइटर स्टेन लेयर लिख रही है ऊपर, दैट इज द एपिथेलियम. और ये सारे के सारे कट सेक्शन आपको ग्लैंड्स के दिख रहे हैं. ग्लैंड्स किस तरह कुछ अपनी अपनी हाइट के मुताबिक, कोई एलएस में है, कोई आपको ओब्लिकली, अब आप इसका सेक्शन लेंगे तो किसी की तो बेस कटी राउंडेड दिखेगी, कोई ओब्लिक सेट सेक्शन होगा और बाकी एलएस में दिखाई देंगे. यहाँ आपने बहुत सारे दरख्त देखे हो, ठीक है, कोई छोटा कोई बड़ा कोई सॉर्ट ऑफ, और आपने उसका सेक्शन कुछ इस तरतीब से लिया कि किसी की तो जड़ कटी हुई राउंडेड आ गई है, कोई ओब्लिक कट गया है, कोई पूरा एलएस में कट गया, और वो एक स्लाइस आपने माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे रख दिया, तो इसलिए आपको पिक्चर में ग्लैंड्स कोई पूरा लॉन्गिट्यूडनली फॉर्म दिख रहा है और किसी की बेसिस कटी हुई है, राइट. सो दैट इज कि आपको दिस इज द ग्लैंड्स ऑफ द पाइलोरिक रीजन, राइट. ओके, अब हमने इसके बाद फंडिक एरिया के देखने कि हाउ दे अपेयर. This is the mucosa, right? And they are so closer, the gland simple but branch tubular, and the darker stained cells at even 4x we can observe. These are the parietal cells through which we easily identify. Yeah, this is the look of the fundic gland. So close कि आपको streaks की तरह दरमियान में lamina propria दिख रहा है. इसकी मिसाल कुछ ऐसे ले लें कि बहुत सारी तस्बियां आप एट ए टाइम अगर होल्ड कर लें, सो दे आर सो मच क्लोजर, दे आर फॉर्मिंग दीज ग्लैंड्स विच आर ब्रांचिंग. सो इंटरवेनिंग जो इसका लेमिना प्रोप्रिया है वो आपको बहुत क्लोजर दिख रहा है. दीज डार्कर स्टेन सेल्स आर पैराइटल सेल्स दैट आर सपोज्ड टू secrete HCl and intrinsic factor. So that was the detail of stomach. ये बीच में सबम्यूकोजल लेयर है, तो ये एक बड़ा सा पोर्शन जो आपको एलिवेटेड दिखेगा, दैट इज द रूबी. लेट मी फोकस ऑन 4x टू शो यू अगेन. सो दैट होल कर्व ये जो आपको दिख रहा है, दैट इज द रूबी ऑफ द स्टमक, राइट, ऑन बोथ साइड म्यूकोसा एंड द सेंट्रल सबम्यूकोजल लेयर, राइट. Okay. After that, take 5 minute rest. Then we will discuss a shorter, smaller topic, esophagus.